Absent with notice. Smith Charles.
She absent.
Yep, she's right here.
She's joining us.
I'm here too, joining online.
Thank you. Weipert,
I'm here.
Hoffman,
Present.
Markham.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right. Okay, next up, we have the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we have approval of the minutes from the July 10th meeting. Moved by Commissioner Long, supported by Commissioner Rahman. Any discussion on those minutes? Seeing none, let's prompt the vote. We could have done that by voice.
Yes.
Mike, am
Yeah, let's,
Your prompt didn't come up.
I did.
none of them did.
Mine did.
Oh, yours did?
Markham,
Yes.
Powell.
Yes.
You have 6 yeas, 0 nays.
Okay.
Now
Next is the approval of the agenda for today. I'll take a motion from
I move it.
Commissioner Weipert, supported by Commissioner Rahman.
A lot of stuff because there's not many.
Let's just do a voice vote for this
Okay.
one. All in favor of approval of the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay. All right, we have our first public comment where anybody from the public is welcome to address this committee on anything on the agenda today. Is there anyone who cares to address this committee at this time? Seeing no one, I will close our first public comment and we will move into item number 7, communications. We have 2 items, the contract exception report and the proposed 2024 budget hearing schedule. Somebody wanna move that we receive and file these? Moved by Commissioner Powell.
I'll support it.
Supported by Commissioner Weipert. Does anybody have any discussion on either of these items?
Well, one discussion.
Okay, Commissioner Weipert.
I know one of the exception was extend Guidehouse 18 months or $640,000. Is that, we're just continuing on other advising and the work with Workday?
Do you want us to come to the table?
I just, in general, want.
Yep, that's correct. A piece of that is for continued ARPA consulting. Most of that work for the ARPA consulting would take place between now and the federal obligation deadline at the end of this year, right? So there's a part of that is a not to exceed amount specific to ARPA. Almost all of the work they would do while we're completing the obligation of our money, and then we've got the continuity and historical memory of working with them, would be, so most of that work would be done between now and the end of the year. Then we'd have a few hours of them being on call if there are changes to Treasury guidance, which has happened several times along the way, right? And they've been our experts in helping us navigate what those changes would mean to the county. So just having them available is needed, but again, it's a not to exceed amount, so we may never actually use all of the funds that of the portion of the contract anyway that's related to ARPA, and then the rest of it is for Workday.
Yeah, the rest of it is support for Workday. As you know, last year we implemented a new budget system that ties into Workday. We're struggling with that a little bit, so they're helping with that. So we've got time and materials with the not to exceed, just to help us as we have those little one-offs and tasks that they're helping us with as we get better in figuring it out.
I mean, I know it's big, it's giant, so but
Yes.
that's $640,000 is a lot of money, but.
$240 million, we wanna make
No,
sure
I
that
know.
we're
Okay, thank you.
getting it right.
We've been kind of seamless
Yeah.
so far in this process, considering how many, considering how many dollars we really had to move and keep track of and spend appropriately and all of that. So,
don't miss anything.
Guidehouse has been there with us through the whole thing.
Should wait.
Because it's really an all-encompassing software, like any changes that a department makes kind of affects what we're doing in Workday. So we need a little bit of guidance to help it out. We change banks. That affects what we're doing in Workday. We had to make those changes, and some of them are one-offs, and that's really what they're helping us with. The day-to-day stuff we're handling internally, but it's those little one-off things as we attach the arms to Workday.
Okay,
Thank you.
any other discussion? If not, let's prompt the vote, please.
Yes.
Vaughn?
Yes.
Raman?
I'm good. A problem for budget hearing schedule. Is that something else?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. We have 6 yeas, 0 nays.
Okay, motion carries, communications are filed. Next up is item 8, departmental recommendations. Item 8A, acceptance of the fiscal year 2025 Michigan Indigent Defense Commission grant. Moved by Commissioner Raman, supported by Commissioner Hoffman. Good morning.
Good
Good morning, Commissioners. My name's Pete Mena. Paulette Lofton is our Chief Public Defender sitting next to me. This is our yearly grant acceptance for the Indigent Defense Grant. We will be back here on August 21st to give you our full budget presentation, so I did not want to duplicate that effort today and show you the same PowerPoint twice. The highlights of this grant are as follows. We're asking and have the MIDC has approved about $20.4 million in grant funds. And then the county contributes about $1.8 million in our local share, as we do every year. We contribute that from the general fund as required by statute. The plan for FY25 is to expand the public defender's office. So we're going to be adding about 5 attorney positions to the public defender's office. And another 4 support staff positions. So that's gonna almost double the capacity that they have right now. Right now, they're taking about 7% of our caseload, and we're looking to put that up to about 15% in FY25. So that's gonna be really helpful. The public defender's office is also in the process of relocating so that they can be here on the county campus, which is great, because right now they're in the South Oakland building in Troy. Which is a fine building, but it's not super convenient when you're coming to the circuit court. And so that's gonna be a big push for FY25 as well, to get them here on the county campus. And we're confident that that will happen. And then also as you all know from last year, we have now implemented full hourly payment to all of our independent contractor attorneys. So all those cases are paid hourly now, not like in the past where they were flat fee. So that will continue. The hourly rates will go up a little bit just to keep pace with inflation. And we also do annually, we have a contract with the Oakland County Bar Association for our continuing legal education requirement that the state requires us to have. So those are the highlights, and again, we'll be back here August 21st to give you a full outline of our budget.
Excuse me. Okay, Commissioner Powell, followed by Commissioner Long and
So total-
Commissioner Wyper.
That's what I was gonna say.
So total with the positions in total, how many attorneys is that for us in total? And then my second question to that is the hourly thing. Since you switched, do you see that that's a good thing by us doing the hourly pay for the contractual attorneys? Or like, what's your feedback with that?
So the total attorneys will be 11 of what I would call line attorneys. So those are the attorneys taking a full caseload. And then, of course, we have Paulette as the chief, and she has a deputy chief as well. So it's 13 attorneys, with 11 of those being, line attorneys.
With the added additional 4,
That's in
sorry.
FY25,
Sorry.
that's with the additionals, yeah.
Okay.
And I think the switch to hourly has been great. Some of the feedback that we've gotten from attorneys who have never had to do this is it's a big change now that I have to itemize my time. So that has been a learning curve for a lot of people. But the fact that they're now seeing, oh, you mean if I actually do this, I'm gonna get paid for it, not like before. I think it's just a huge incentive, and we're seeing a lot of positive feedback from them.
Good.
I think there's more jury trials, I think there's more motions being
Yeah.
filed, because before you didn't always get paid for everything you were doing, and now you do, so.
Oh, good.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Commissioner Long.
She asked my question, Commissioner Powell did.
And just follow up with that, it's always,
Commissioner Wyper.
it was always awkward being a lawyer and working and not getting paid and you wanna do your best, and so then you're making a judgment call. Okay, is that motion really needed or not needed, you know, and is it the fact that I'm getting paid or not getting paid influencing your decision on the, should I be doing my best interest for my client, right? And
Yeah, and you never want that to be your
you don't want
motivation.
that, right, so that's good,
So-
this will undo that.
Yeah.
And then so that just made me think of that, but, and so, I mean, the new salary, it's about $1.5 million on salary I saw, right?
The additional?
Yeah,
From,
the
yeah,
additional,
yeah, I would say that's about what we're adding, yeah.
And, I mean, this was all in your plan that we submitted to the state that came through this committee in June.
Correct.
Right, so I mean, this is,
Yes,
And
yeah,
they've
it just got, what we submitted got approved.
correct.
Okay.
So this is the acceptance portion
Yeah.
of what you already approved the application. Right.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Hoffman.
What's the hourly rate?
For a capital case, so anything punishable by life, it'll be $200 an hour. For a high severity felony, it'll be $150, and for a low severity felony, $140, and misdemeanor, it'll be $125.
That's pretty reasonable.
And that's competitive in
Yeah,
our
it's very
region.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions for this group? Seeing none, let's prompt the vote, please.
Thank you. We have 6 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion carries,
Thank
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up we have item 8B. New service with Grand Blanc Township and the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services for access to Oaknet connectivity and Clemis.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Wypert, supported by Commissioner Hoffman, or vice versa. Hi,
Hello.
morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Morning, so I'm Rod Davenport from IT. I'll let the gentlemen introduce themselves and their roles.
Paul Maggie, Chief of Clemis.
Hi, Bill Clemens.
Okay,
Get right into it. So Grand Blanc Township in Genesee County is seeking full membership. The annual revenue breaks down, they'll be using the full records management system, which is the Clear Suite. We have a handful of MDCs. They will not be using the computer-aided dispatch because they will continue with Genesee's County Central Dispatch. The startup costs are $19,705, which are completely covered by Grand Blanc Township. They reimburse us for all that. And the annual revenue from Grand Blanc will be $25,494. That's based on their 38 full-time deputies and their 17 mobile device computers. So the first year revenue from them would be $45,199. They've been approved by the membership by Clemis and full Clemis Advisory Committee on July 11th, 2024.
okay. Any
Any?
questions from the committee? Commissioner Hoffman?
No question, just to comment, and I think this is excellent for efficiency and that type of thing. I think it's a good thing that we're doing. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Commissioner Rahman?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Appreciate the information. I also just wanted to acknowledge, we appreciate the tour last week as well. I think that was very helpful, especially for me, learning the space and kind of understanding how the whole Clemis universe works. My question is, given some of the discussion and the fact that Clemis is sort of operating and it's not for profit, we're kind of underwater a little bit with the Clemis system. But we're bringing up new municipalities under this umbrella. Is there opportunity to sort of, kind of make up a little bit of that delta? Or are we just kind of, well, this township is at this, so we're doing the exact same for the newbies? And I didn't know how that
Yeah, I
works.
think we're in a little bit of a transition state, so Bo has been working on a kind of a vision for picking up where Ken left off with the future of Clemis. We're trying to balance the demand because the police departments find value in the information sharing, and so we're a little bit reluctant to hold them off. But I think we, depending on how this plays out, we might have to put a pause on the membership as the new methods are put in place. So the difficulty would be, kind of raising the rates unexpectedly causes a problem for the CVT. So,
Sure.
so
And
making sure.
I'm not even suggesting substantially, but I just didn't know if there was, a modest increase that would maybe help both sides, right? To say, look, we're operating at loss, or it's not financially until the time we potentially look at or something like that. just a thought or suggestion.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion, I'll shed more light into, but the short answer is yes, that's on the table, discussion. I think with Grand Blanc coming on board, it's gonna help with a variable increase in revenue, which can kind of help offset some of the fixed costs. So the increase in membership actually helps reduce overall fixed costs, and as we discussed last week, we're trying to modernize the platform. That'll also help us reduce operational costs on a go-forward basis. So with that, as a combination of increasing membership, we're gonna start to look at a better trajectory in terms of balance. Yeah.
Thank you.
Commissioner Whitehurst.
Can you follow, just go over the out county, in county, and the board chair can sign, or it comes through the committee? I mean, there's a note in there on this. We got out county, right? With Grand Blanc being in Genesee. I mean, there's a difference on whether it's gotta come through the committee or not? Is
That I do
mean,
not know, but I can get back to you.
There's a note in the package.
So the mechanics of the interlocal agreement, hi, Tammy Shepherd, IT. The mechanics of the interlocal agreement, we brought the template a couple of weeks ago. And it allows, once it goes through committee and the full board, and then the chair of the commission signs as an administrative policy. So it eliminates, the back and forth to come back to the board. So we pass administratively or through your approval at the board, and then the local community also passes it through their elected body, and then that authorizes the chair to sign on behalf of the county. Does that answer your question, Commissioner Wiper, or is that not your question?
Yes, but is there a difference of whether it's an out county membership or
No.
in-county? Okay, all right. Okay, thank you.
Anything else? So I guess I'm not, Commissioner Rahman alluded to it, we're underwater in Clemmis. We're essentially subsidizing many, if not all, of the communities that are using it. And I know that has been an issue for the chairman, it's also an issue for me. I like people to pay for what they get, right? So is there a longer term plan to inform and work with everybody who's on this system that ultimately their rates are going to reflect what it really costs to supply this service to them? Is there a plan?
Yes.
Well, that's a good answer.
Yes.
It's in sync too.
Yeah, that's
In
what
sync.
we're working on right now.
It was in sync.
So, for the benefit of the committee, the in-county agencies pay a different rate than the out-county agencies. And the out-county agencies do pay a higher rate. And so right now what we're looking at is what does that rate compare with the marketplace? Us as Clemmis, it is competitive to the marketplace, meaning we're below kind of what the market is at. So that'd be part of the plan. So with that, it's a combination of the rates with the modernization. So right now, because we're under an older architecture, the costs are gonna be higher for us as Clemmis. But as we kind of move forward with modernization, it'll help reduce that cost. So yes, that's what we're looking at right now. And also what that new revenue plan is gonna look like for all these new agencies that are coming on board as well.
Okay. I
Can I
like
do one follow-up?
standardization, but yeah.
Do other larger governments have something similar to Clemmis where, let's say big governments in Florida or Georgia
Yes. Yeah.
or, is there something similar where they're doing Clemmis?
Yeah,
Something
similar.
similar?
Yeah, correct. So there are agencies, one I'm familiar with in Ohio, it's called NORS, which is the Northern Ohio Regional Information System. It's very similar to Clemmis, in which a local government provides information sharing systems for a region. And you're gonna have those types of regions all across the nation.
Right.
None of them are as large as Clemmis in terms of the scope and the number of applications that are provided, but there are similar models across the nation.
Okay, and you must go to conferences where
Yes.
we're similar, you guys all have the same models, right?
Yes, similar models.
Okay.
Yeah, correct.
And you look at how they do rates?
Yeah, so there, a lot of it is also dictated based on your policy. So for example, in Illinois, there's a state law that mandates consolidation of regional dispatch operations. So that actually increases the cost for a lot of communities in the area. So we have to kind of look at it relative to what we're serving in Michigan compared to the rest of the market. Some of that's dictated based on where the laws come into place. So yes, we're looking at kind of how we compare, not just in Michigan, but also throughout the nation.
So that gives you some ideas.
Yeah, correct.
And just, and everybody knows, I mean, the government's can't be making a profit, because otherwise you lose your governmental immunity or it's not something, but you do wanna cover the cost.
Yes, yeah, and to support, obviously, as we mentioned last week with those of you who are for the IT tour, I mean, the value of Clemens is in the data sharing. And I truly believe that data sharing, that data management should be owned by government. It's not a private sector type of management. I think that would lead to disaster. But public safety information owned by the government and supporting that infrastructure, I think it should be sustainable on its own.
It has a value.
Correct.
Yes.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hoffman.
Does our system, Clemens, interact with, say, the one in Illinois you mentioned? I mean, how do we get information? Let's see, there's an incident in Illinois. They need to contact us, or can they check our system or see, or is a lot of the same information shared across the country?
Yeah, not today, but I think the question you're asking is the vision that we see for Clemens in the future by expanding it beyond Michigan. So today it's just, I think 11 counties, right, Paul, in Michigan, 122 law enforcement agencies. But the technology, as we kind of see it expanding, should not be contained to any individual state or county borders.
Yeah, I agree. That makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, anybody else have questions? Seeing none, let's prompt the vote, please. Oops, okay, so it worked. So you say I have to go back to agenda like that.
You shouldn't have to. I mean, right now.
Hoffman,
Yes.
There's 6 years, yes.
Okay, motion carries. I lost my page. Give me a second. For some reason got out of
Details button, it'll take you back,
Oh,
right here. And then the blue button at the top.
all right, thank you.
Yep.
Oh, it's nice having helpers. Okay. So did we all vote?
yeah, you had 6 days there, thanks.
Okay, motion carries. So thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. And then there's
Tammy?
the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
That's true, there was a part B.
There's a part B.
Oh,
To the
okay.
But they are not looking to join Clemens, they are just looking for an IT agreement only to open a port on Oak Video, so their agents can submit documents electronically to the Oakland County Prosecutor's Office as required by the Prosecutor's Office. They are not seeking full membership.
And so just for clarification, the motion was for both, so you can still speak on, the other one.
So there's no cost to Clemens for doing that. No income is received by them. They'll be utilizing Oak Video document management services only. No expense or other operating. There's no expense other than opening the port and set up users to allow them to submit the Oak Video documents. And this is a new agreement.
Commissioner Whiteford.
Was there a gap where the prosecutor wasn't getting something? I mean, some information? Was there
That would be my
was there a
assumption,
was there a
is they are
disconnect?
asking for, since they are submitting things to the Oakland County prosecutors, there must have been a gap or there's a new case. For whatever reason, they're asking to be able to do it electronically. And since the prosecutor is already a Clemens member, they can submit it through Oak Video.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. So did we vote on that one?
You voted both.
That's what I
They're
thought.
together, right?
Sorry about getting the order out.
Yeah.
Alright, thanks.
Thank you. Okay, item 8C, payment of the Michigan Association of Counties membership dues.
I'll move it.
Moved by Commissioner Weipert, supported by Commissioner Powell.
I have a question though on this.
Okay,
Cheryl is here as well as I'm here if there's any questions.
okay, so Commissioner Powell.
I just wanted to point out that on here, it lets us know it says, enclosed you will find a report on max services to your county as of January 24th. I don't see no attachment, so all I would like to know is, I wanna see what we get for this. Cause I mean, we know the relationship with MAC, but it'll always be good to see what services they provided for our county. And it may just been forgot to be added, which is fine. I'm still a support vote for it, but eventually I would love to see that information.
The
For our
report was-
knowledge, cause a lot of that go to leadership, we don't see it, but I think we should see what we're getting for our memberships and stuff like that.
Yeah, that report was actually sent out earlier in the year. This is just the, the invoice that then, refers to it. So I'll make sure to send that
Okay,
back
just
out.
resend it, yeah, please, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know we support the MAC stuff, I just wanna see what we get for it.
Good.
I did,
Commissioner Wyper?
I mean, and just so the record, it's the bill on that is 72,000, I don't have it in front of me. I mean, I looked at it
Yeah, I
early.
seen that.
72.
But they did have highlights, and I wish I would have had Pete stay. One of the things they accomplished was getting, was 17 million or something going to the 10 county prosecutors with the highest crime rates. And I wanted to ask if,
We can ask the prosecutor's office.
yes, prosecutor's office, and I mean, Pete might have heard about it because he was connected, but. So I mean, there's some results. I mean, they've got $17 million in the governor's budget going to.
Oh, yeah,
Some
the
of-
17 million for county
Yeah, I think there's a little
prosecutors.
summary. Yeah,
There's a
there's
summary.
there's a little summary right there.
But that is just stuff
That's
going
some
to the
highlights.
state budget,
I know,
right?
but it's highlights that they
What they're
were part
working
of.
on, yeah.
But again, it states that we can get an end clause that'll find what came to directly to our county. I just wanna get that breakdown.
Yeah.
We see what the state is doing, but I wanna see how we're benefiting as a county, that's all.
And I know I'm happy to see the revenue sharing.
Yeah, I mean, all of that is good, but what is our revenue sharing? Is it
Yeah,
ain't
what-
full
you wanna
30?
know
What are
what's
we
coming
getting
to
out of
Oakland
it?
County.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
want our itemized list, so
Yeah.
what our county's getting
For
from this?
us, yes.
And what did MAC do on our behalf, which is great, I think we need to know that type of stuff, cause we don't. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Rahman, followed by Commissioner Hoffman.
Thank you. Actually, I was echoing Commissioner Powell's question as well. I saw that too about the report on services. And I know they do a great job. My other follow-up question is, with the amount that we're being charged, I know it mentioned that they haven't raised our dues, I think in 10 years or more than a decade or something like that, which is great. Do we know, is that a fixed amount county to county, or how is that set, just so for my general knowledge?
Yeah, it was based on population.
Population calculation, they calculate.
And we can
Sometimes
certainly,
so many
I remember
people.
the first year I worked here at the board, we actually had Matt come and present, not necessarily when this invoice was presented, but at, point in the year, so we can absolutely do
But it's
that.
something times population, some rate
yes, that
times
is how, yep.
population, so Wayne counties is a little less, I think, right, the population's less, isn't it? Isn't the population less?
yeah,
I thought
I
it
don't
was
know
always
the
less
other
and people would question that, but it was based on population.
Did she say Wayne County is less?
I thought, it used to be, I think, and people questioned it, but they said it was a formula that did times amount times population. It might not be now, but it used to be, and people would question it.
It hasn't changed over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not familiar
I'm
with
not
what the
either.
other, I know Macomb County is right, but I don't know
used to
the other,
ask.
what Wayne or Washington or any of those, but I know ours, we did do an
Right.
inquiry last year and it hasn't been raised in over a decade.
Do you happen to know Macomb's?
I'm just, guessing off the top of my head, I thought it was 56 to 60,000.
Yeah. We used to,
They're at 900,000 people.
because there used to be no votes.
Commissioner Hoffman?
AJ asked my question.
Okay.
Just goes to show great minds think alike.
Ajay.
Anybody else?
You gotta say the proper.
Ajay.
It's all sorry. It's all.
All right, well, if there's no
I would
further
say
discussion, let's prompt the
I
vote,
mean,
please.
yeah. I'm just happy he kind of flexible, some people take that personal about their name.
He needs a little. That little.
Hoffman?
Yes.
What do you call it?
68
Little
ayes.
accent.
All right, motion carries. Next up, we have item
It
8.
used to be less, I think.
I moved pages, but it's the support for the Charter Township of Royal Oak 5-year Parks and Recreation Plan. Moved by Commissioner Powell, supported by
I'll support it.
Commissioner Wypert.
Thank you, Commissioner Wypert.
You're welcome.
And we have Commissioner Smith Charles on video, and we also, I believe, we had the.
She just stepped out for a phone call, so I can.
And
Okay. We're gonna
well, I was
take
gonna
a
tee off
30-second.
I could.
Let us take a 30-second stop. She's on the phone, and I'm gonna go get a fresh glass of water. I'll be right back. All right, we're all back. Commissioner Smith Charles, if you want to start, and then let's see, we have the Royal Oak Township Supervisor, am I correct?
Township Manager.
Township Manager, okay. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Ann Capella and I am the Township Manager for Township of Royal Oak.
Okay.
And I did the submissions of the new request for this grant.
Okay, excellent. Commissioner Smith Charles, do you have anything you want to add to this or speak on this?
I do, yes. Yes, of course. First off, thank you again, Commissioner Wiper, for that second, so we could actually get this where we could vote. And of course, if I were there, I would be a rousing, happy, excited, energized yes. And I'm imploring that the team at the table listen to why Ann felt it was important to get this in front of us and all of the wonderful things that it will open Royal Oak Township up to in terms of their parks. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Ann. Thank you.
May I, Madam
The floor is yours.
Okay, well, first of all, historically, the last time that Royal Oak Township had a parks plan, a master plan, is 2016. So we really are overdue to produce a 5-year parks plan. And also, you know that in the future, most of the parks grants will require that we have a formal parks plan. So in fact, if you're supporting this, and I thank you for supporting it ahead of time, is that we're literally going to be able to use this document to go out and get grants. And it's a requirement, so it's sort of it gives us the opportunity to put in for grants. I think those of you who are familiar with the Royal Oak Township, we are a very small but historically significant township. We have been designated as Justice 40 community by SEMCOG, and that has some meaning to some people. To us, it has a lot of meaning. Starting in February 2025, as I said, this will be required to have the parks plan. And we are looking to do the best possible, particularly for applying for DNR grants and other grants that are out there from parks. And you know, I'm very pleased that the state and the federal monies are looking at developing parks in urban area. In the past, a lot of parks have been created up north where there's a lot of green stuff, but we definitely need to improve our parks in an urban area where the children have very limited time. And I think this time with the parks, we really are incorporating a lot of our seniors. Royal Oak Township has a lot of seniors, and we're hoping that to engage a lot of seniors to utilize our parks.
Okay.
Could I add to that, Ann? I mean, Commissioner
Yes.
Markham?
Commissioner Smith Charles, yes.
Something Ann mentioned to me when she first brought this to my attention, because of course I was like, ouch, you know, the price point is no, you know, small feat. But what stood out to me is that, and you can tell them the dollar amount, but there's money's already pretty much available. This is the hurdle. They don't have a parks plan. Parks plans cost upwards of $20,000, sometimes $30,000, even for a small community like Royal Oak Township. That is a hardship, very challenging for them to come up with, and I think this is a great use of a special project. Over to you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'll open it up to the rest of the commissioners.
I think I'd request.
Okay,
Think I did my
Commissioner Long.
Oh, thank you. I just wanted to ask, I do not know this, where is it? Justice 40 community, what does that mean? Designated as Justice 40 community?
Yes, those of you who may be familiar, President Biden some time ago had an executive action to communities who have been underserved for many, many years. Communities that have been redlined. It has been designated in the state of Michigan, throughout the state of Michigan, there are Justice 40 communities, and Royal Oak Township is one of them, which means that there is priorities given for infrastructure, that we are open to eligibility for grants, and this will actually help us to present ourselves to other agencies. And that's for the Justice 40 communities. SEMCOG, I don't know if you're familiar with this.
Yeah.
That I also am part of the Justice 40 Community Task Force. So I think that this is a really great opportunity for us to have a document to literally go out and present ourselves to other agencies.
So that helps you guarantee more grants and funding?
Correct.
Okay, all right.
It's sort
Apply
of,
for 'em.
if I
Okay.
could just say, it's sort of, this is like a seed money, so we can go get other
Okay.
grants.
All right, thank you.
That's required.
Anybody else? Commissioner Powell.
I'm going to
With the knowledge of us knowing some of the struggles that Royal Oak Township has faced, I think this is a great thing for us to be investing in to help just help things shift there. Because we know it's a big campaign going around, uses of grass, green spaces, walking, biking, all the new initiatives, and I think this is perfect, and I encourage you all. Good luck. I hope it work out for you, but this is a great start, and thank you, Commissioner Smith Charles, for such a project.
Anybody else? Commissioner Rahman?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Smith Charles and him both, I appreciate all the information and I think it's great. I'm a huge proponent of parks and development and all of that. Where I struggle with something like this is, we just had a whole presentation from our Parks Department. And I know Commissioner Smith Charles obviously is on that. And we have our own challenges as a county with parks, right? In terms of, funding and maintenance and how much money we're putting towards it. I guess my challenge in this case is, Royal Oak Township understands a little bit of a different situation, right? Royal Oak Township, Pontiac, some of these communities are slightly different. But I guess where do we draw the line as far as, what we should be supporting in terms of a county level versus what the township would be required to do on its own, right? So whether it was Novi or Troy or anybody else, could they come to us? And this is more of just a general question. It's not even necessarily directed at this particular issue. But this is where I struggle with some of these decisions, right? $20,000, I guess depending how you look at it, could be a lot of money, could not be much money, given how much money we have as a county. But I don't know, I'm just having a hard time swallowing it just because it doesn't seem to me like what the intended purpose of special projects are. But again, I don't know if this is important to Commissioner Smith Charles, I'm happy to support her. I'm having a hard time with this one.
No, it's fine.
Okay. Anybody else?
I just want
Commissioner
to
Powell?
kind of help with Ajay. This is just another community, as I don't know if you missed it, but it was a community that has, just like Pontiac, redlining. We haven't had the opportunities. We've always been under financially. So we depend on county or other people to probably try to write a check, try to go after grants, stuff like that. But as you just heard her, now they're requiring such a plan. Before they didn't do that and they still wasn't giving us no money. So now here's another stipulation that an underserved community can't pay for this. They're seeking out for us to help them, but the goal is hopefully they do right, put the right people in place to shepherd this through so that they can now go after funding that is now all of a sudden presented and available for us because IJ for years, they never could get any assistance in this place and we were always underfunded in funding. So where are we to get the money from? So y'all helped us over the years to some point, then they just chopped these communities off and now we supposed to fish for our own money and y'all not help us, but y'all was doing it for years. So I think that that's just my history from dealing with Pontiac, and Royal Township is even worse than Pontiac. So just figure that out. So that's just because I know, thank you for supporting this. But from my historicalness of living in such a community, we were disenfranchised. Like they never gave us the opportunities to the redlining. We couldn't apply for stuff. It was intentional. So now that the money's here and we can try to help these communities, let's try to help them because eventually, IJ, the full circle gonna come back around and we're gonna try to eat for ourselves again. They're not gonna give us nothing, but thank God you all live in communities that everybody's doing fine. Everybody not doing fine in the Royal Township and the Pontiac.
Would it be, and Chair, would this be sustainable? I mean, $20,000, today would help, but is that going to be enough as the seed money?
Well,
to kind of take it, run with from there?
Ms. Capella, I'll let you answer that, but I have something to add to the conversation too.
Yeah, from the council.
It is a plan. I mean, these are required plan and I look at it as a plan. We did go other places to look for some funding. It wasn't like that we've just come here. I looked at different places and sources of funding. One other plan, we had to produce a master community plan. So we had to look for funding for that. We are constantly looking for partners and we really appreciate Oakland County Parks. I work with the park staff all the time and we just really, really appreciate having the assistance from Oakland County Parks.
Well, just so you, I just wanted to clarify where she getting this funding from, because I think she think it's coming from parks. That's what it sounded like to me.
No, this is
coming from the general fund.
Oh, okay, yeah, I was just making sure okay.
A couple of things I want to add. So a Justice 40 community comes out of the executive order from the White House. Section 223 of Executive Order 14008 directs 40% of overall benefits of certain federal investments, including investments in clean energy, energy efficiency, clean transit, affordable and sustainable housing, training and workforce development, and the remediation and reduction of whatever. Anyway, it's based on an executive order from the president to get into the communities that are underserved and make sure 40% of the funding goes to those communities. So that does come through SEMCOG to discern who those communities are, and you're on the task force at SEMCOG that is doing that work. This $20,000 basically, in a community like Novi or Southfield or Troy or Rochester Hills, they have whole planning staffs. They have half a dozen to 10 people who that's what they do, is planning. You don't have that.
You do not.
You're having to hire someone from the outside to come talk with all of you and help you create the plan that you now need to go search out federal and other kinds of grants to do this.
Very well put.
Well, but you're not the only community, right? This is just the standard way that things are going now. So I am in support of this because I want to see Royal Oak Township get some modern planning, some connection to what else is going on in the region so that we can go out there and look for the $10,000, $20,000, $100,000 grants that are available for what you need, but you definitely need a plan. The master plan is a different plan, but you're also gonna need that.
Yes, ma'am, yes.
You're required by the state to update that every 5 years. And everybody's kind of loosey-goosey on that timing, but generally, yes, you need that updated master plan to do that kind of work as well. So that's my understanding of why you're asking for $20,000. That's the bulk of it, is to hire a planner to help you with this.
Correct. We've worked with the planner before with the community master plan, but unfortunately, that's according to DNR and my discussion with them, they're looking at a separate parks plan, so that's
Yeah, yeah.
what we're here for.
Correct. And just to clarify, this comes out of the County Commissioner Special Projects Fund.
Right.
So that means it comes from the general fund. It will be, I would expect, a one-time expenditure, which is one of the keys for special projects, is we like them to be one-time.
Yes, this is a one-time expenditure, in effect, really, as I said, our last plan was 2016, and for a couple of years, you can kind of get away with, that, but 2016 was a long time ago, so we really need a new plan.
Anybody else have anything they wanna add? Okay, let's, Commissioner?
Only just to once again say thank you for those of you who are planning on voting yes. And you've heard everything, but certainly, SIMCOG has been just at the ground floor with this Justice 40 thing. You heard the DNR, so that's our state saying this is kind of the framework we want to go with. And I can tell you the residents of Royal Oak Township they love their parks and want to see them do well. So, with that, I'll turn it over to you, Chair.
Thank you. Anybody else? Any other commissioner? We can prompt the vote, please.
I already voted.
Okay. I guess you already did that.
Hoffman?
Yes.
You have 6 yeas, 0 nays.
Excellent. Motion carries. So,
Alright. Thank you for coming.
And I'll be sure to send you a copy as soon as we get one.
excellent.
Thank you.
Okay, and then this comes before the full board
Yes.
next
Next
next meeting that we
Next
have.
meeting,
Okay,
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Second.
Next week, August 1st.
August 1st.
Thank you. August
Wait.
1st?
Yeah, after
I'll
August
be
first,
there.
someone will, you really don't have to attend, but you're more than welcome
Oh,
to.
yeah,
yeah.
But they won't invite you up to the podium to speak.
Oh, great, okay, then that's fine, let
No,
me know.
this, because this passed unanimously, it will go in the consent agenda
She wants
for
to
the
come, she
Board of
can come, though.
Commissioners,
Certainly,
so
yes.
All
should
right, thank
fly
you,
through.
thank you. Have a good day.
Same to you,
Yeah.
thank you. I don't know, I like helping the communities that have been so underserved for so long. I mean, before I got on the board, I did not know there was such a thing as Royal Oak Township.
And thank you just listening to me.
Sure, no.
It's a mess.
I am in tears. I'm in tears. I can't tell you. Thank you so much, Mr. Hoffman, Mr. Wiper, Ms. Long, Mr. Rahman, Dr. Ajay Rahman,
It's formal name.
Wynn. Thank you all. Thank you all.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
It's good. Okay, that was item 8D. Now we have item 8E, again from Special Projects, sponsorship of the Hazel Park 2024 Art Fair. Take a motion.
Just 5,000.
Commissioner Powell,
Good.
Commissioner Hoffman.
Yeah, fine.
So this is a $5,000 allotment from our general fund in support of the Hazel Park Art Fair.
Yes, and Commissioner Ann Erickson Galt is online to speak in support of it.
Oh, good. Welcome, Commissioner. You want to add, Commissioner Galt, you want to add something to this?
Thank you, Chair. I appreciate this opportunity to speak to you all. I think that the item summary does a pretty good job of laying out what a wonderful event this is. And even though Hazel Park probably doesn't have quite the few challenges that Royal Oak Township does, it's certainly a community that has its struggles and is on the rise. And I think this event does a nice job of highlighting how well they are rising up and becoming just an amazing community. One of the pleasures that I've had over the last several months is I've just absolutely fallen in love with the city of Hazel Park. I think they do more with less. And so I'm happy to have this opportunity to request this special project funding to help them with this great event that not only supports local and upcoming artists, but just provides a great event for not just for Hazel Park, but for everybody in the county.
And it says the total event budget is 11,000, the sponsorship is 5,000. There are other sponsors, I take it?
Yes, they have other sponsors. They also charge artists for participating, although they do keep those fees relatively low, with the idea being to try to encourage upcoming and financially challenged artists to be able to participate in the event.
Will the county be identified somewhere as a sponsor with our Board of Commissioners logo and that sort of thing?
That's my understanding. I'm not on the Arts Council, so I don't know what exactly that they have planned for, how they're going to identify that, but my understanding is that they've been made to understand that they will need to make it clear that the county is a sponsor and that'll be promoted to the attendees.
Yeah, if you would follow up on that for us and just let us know.
Yeah.
Sure, Amy's right here. She lives in Hazel Park, I think.
Oh, she used to.
Or she used to.
She left us.
I used to live in Hazel Park, but I am still the chair of the planning committee for the Hazel Park Art Fair. So I do that in my spare time. So what we do to recognize our sponsors is we have our entrance and exit signage that the logo will be displayed. For your sponsorship level, we'll have a very large banner displayed at the event. We also do social media promotion where we will share information about the Board of Commissioners on our Instagram and our Arts Council Facebook page, as well as our Art Fair Facebook page.
That's good.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
That's good.
Anybody else have any questions or comments? No. I did all the talking this time.
It's okay.
All right, if there's no other comments, let's prompt the vote, please.
Powell,
Yes.
you have 6 yeas, 0 nays.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Next up, we have sponsorship of the Auburn Hills, Pontiac, Waterford, and White Lake 2024 Holiday Extravaganza, moved by Commissioner Powell, supported by Commissioner Hofstadter.
So, and I'll start it.
Go, Commissioner.
So I do have Miss Linda Zabik online to answer any questions, but again, you all know we sponsored this last year. And this is also one of the events that I'm trying to get on that list of projects for the fiscal year 2025 as a standard event. But we have four or five communities on here. So I thank all of my commissioners who agreed to support this. And basically we are the sponsors of the Elf Run. That's where a lot of our funding goes. All the branding, I was there. If I didn't share pictures, I can. They branded us very well at the event. And we actually had a great turnout for it to be our first Elf Run event. I know we had, I think, over 150 runners. She can go into all of that, but I was very excited. It was a great day. It was a good event, and they seeked our support again. And I thought I'd bring it to us because this is a collective sponsorship with just more than one commissioner. So I'll turn it over to Linda if you want to add anything or if y'all have any questions.
Refresh, you're on there, Bob.
Okay.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I guess soon to be good afternoon. Thank you for allowing us to come back to this group with our amazing event of Holiday Extravaganza. As Commissioner Powell mentioned, we're very blessed to have all four of our communities and their support from our commissioners as well as all of our other elected officials within those communities. In reference to the branding, we had the commissioner's logo on all of our material, whether it was printed or social media, banners, signage for the run, Elf Run, which we had 189 runners for our first year, which was amazing according to the people who do those kind of events. We also used the funding for the Winter Fun Festival. This year, we were able to move it after the parade, which was exceptional because that allowed our 1,000-some participants that are in the parade and their families to join us afterwards rather than prior to the parade. So we were really excited about that change and how successful all that was. According to the crowd estimate, we had nearly about 10,000 people attend the event. And we continue to grow, and we continue to already have people asking when and where and how do we get involved. So we're excited as we move forward. This will be our 43rd year. A component that's being added this year is an additional scholarship that's going to be awarded to 4 students at $1,500 each. That's being provided from the Dr. Calandra Green's memorial account, and they wanted to use Holiday Extravaganza to reach back out into our communities. So we're excited about that as well.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions? Commissioner Long, followed by Commissioner Rahman.
Thank you, Linda. Linda, I wanted to ask what location is the Winter Fun Festival after the?
Yes, great question. Thank you for asking that. So this year, and that's how it will be set up, is the Winter Fun Festival is directly on our parade route, concluding after the parade on Saginaw between Huron Street or M59 and Water Street, which is near the parking area. So all of the different components will be set up in that area. And with your help, we're able to keep all of this free of charge. So anyone that attends, there's no cost to do any of those activities that take place. So whether you're riding on a horse-drawn wagon or making s'mores or, being part of the petting farm, etc.
Okay, thank you. And then last year, was it a different location? I just wondered, because I want to try to make the event, so that's why I was asking also.
Yeah. Last year, what we did is we tried to move it over to a side area. But what we did is we had it kind of circled around too much, and we kind of feel it was disconnected. So we wanted to move it back on Saginaw with the help of our downtown and Main Street programs and those things, so we could highlight that area.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Rahman, did you have a question?
Yeah, thank you. So a couple of things, just to highlight Commissioner Powell's point, I appreciate too that this is benefiting 4 different communities, which is great. And I love to see the synergy there between several of our commissioners. The other question, Madam Chair, for you is, with projects like this and others that we're looking to, that are recurring, that we're looking to kick over to Sean and his team, do we have a process in place, or are we soliciting commissioners or projects to be included on that list for budget consideration next month?
So I'm gonna let Mike Keys answer that in detail, but I will say there's about 6 of these that have recurred year after
And they're
year
more
that
than
we're starting,
5,000.
and are more than $5,000 that we're starting with to think about. But
And
Mike,
so-
you wanna elaborate?
Yeah, just to add a little bit more detail, there has not been like a direct solicitation to commissioners, because what we've done is look at the projects that have been funded year after year. We've taken that, compiled that, worked with board leadership to draft a budget amendment. At budget wrap-up, if you remember from last time, commissioners will have the opportunity to introduce budget amendments. And that's where we intend to bring that amendment forward. The reason we want to wait to do that is during the economic development budget presentation, we want to have that as one of the questions of, are you able to facilitate the contracts and the sponsorships for these events? And we're hopeful that, and we've been, Sean has definitely given us a thumbs up that we think that it's going to be a positive response. And then hopefully that will lead to the budget amendment, and then these bigger sponsorships that cross multiple districts that include a little bit more county coordination will be moved over to the Economic Development Department, but still have some type of connection to the Board of Commissioners, to make sure you all are involved.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. Seeing no one, let's prompt the vote, please.
Yeah. He had it found.
I will say the possible funding partners or matching funds list is pretty impressive.
Yeah, she worked hard. Linda works very hard. trying to
Well,
get
they're
us
gonna-
partners on this event,
We're
so.
gonna highlight Main Street and all the other programs we do too, right? So-
Right.
680.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Linda.
Thank you, Linda. So
Thank you all so very much.
Linda, it has to go before our board on August 1st, and if long as it passes there, it'd be good to go. So follow up with Mike Keys the following Monday after August 1st, please.
Okay, definitely. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you.
Enjoy your day.
Thank you.
Okay, last item under department recommendations is item G, the sponsorship of E-Community Outreach Services 2024 Family Appreciation Day.
I'll take this one.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Powell, supported by Commissioner Long.
Thank you.
I was just getting worried for you.
I'm getting scary there. So, E-Community Outreach Services is a nonprofit in our community that actually does a lot of the grassroots work with our communities. With our community. Isha Branner, is Isha, are you on the phone? Are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, thank you so much. Isha Branner is the CEO of this nonprofit, but she does a lot of work connecting the resources, all the resources we know about that help families that is in need, water. She's like hands down our hub in Pontiac that we refer these families when they come to us and they're having a hard time to navigate trying to get the assistance themselves. Isha has stepped up to the plate, started this, and she is like our little silent whisperer in helping connect the dots with them families. And what happened was she has this 2024 Family Appreciation Day event every year, and at the 9th hour, one or two of her sponsors dropped out, and she contacted me to see if we could assist her. She has a well-attended event, and she is just rocking as far as connecting the resources to families, so that we exhaust things there and we do not have to say anything back or and a lot of those agencies that I'm talking about that help, even WRC, we've used her location so that constituents can come meet there, and she helped them to finish out that project, process so that they get all these resources. So she's like this hub person, and that's who we refer everybody to. And so I'm ranting on, but and she does have other partners, as you all see, and I know she's probably got more than this now. But I'll turn it over if y'all have any questions for her, and I hope that you all are in agreement to support it. This is again a one-time thing, and again, 9th hour, she's planning and they pull it out. We got a lot of people doing this all of a sudden with a lot of my groups that's doing these events, so. I'll turn it over to her, and if you all have any questions. Thank you.
I just have one question. The ask is for $15,000, is that correct?
Her ask is that, yes.
Okay. Anybody have any questions, comments? Commissioner Rahman?
So, Chair, just to your point of 15, and maybe this is a question for Mike Keys as well. I know historically, it hasn't been written down, but I know 10,000 was kind of what we were aiming for a lot of these special projects. This project aside, are we thinking we're still closer to 10, or is that, I guess, what is our threshold for these projects, or?
Certainly, if you look at the special projects process that we adopted, there is not a specific threshold. It really gives commissioners and those that are submitting the flexibility to come to the committee and ask for what they think would be help, make their event successful. But to Commissioner Rahman's point, most of the projects that we've approved under, you've approved under sponsorship are $10,000 or less. There have been others, $40,000 for bocce, and obviously $20,000 for extravaganza. But those are the two outliers. The remaining events are $5,000 to $10,000.
So are you shooting for the more to keep it at the 10? That's what you're trying to do?
I'd like to sort of maintain a standard if possible. Again, if this is really a one-off and hey, look, they really need it, I understand. I don't want to be the one to squelch it.
Well, and just so y'all know, I have talked to her about this and her request, but that's what she need. I told her I don't know if we fulfill the 15, but I knew a lot of us was at the 10. So worst case, she's gonna be appreciative of whatever we can come up with, but if we need to go to 10 route, I'm okay with that, because that's probably where we kind of benchmark with others, but it's ultimately up to you all.
Anybody else? Commissioner Long?
Commissioner Powell, did we do this last year?
No.
It's the first time? Okay.
Yeah, this is the first time for her.
Well, I see where Commissioner Ramon's coming from, just because it's 15,000 and the total project is 30.
Yeah.
So that's 50%, and I don't know if we've ever done 50% of a project before, you know? I mean, but I don't want to, would going down to 10,000 make this project not happen? I guess that's the question for,
Ms. Brenner.
Yeah, Ms. Brenner.
Ms. Brenner?
Did you hear my question? Would if we went down to $10,000, would that put a stop to this this event? I guess I would like to ask.
So I would say yes and no. So there may be some things that we're just not going to be able to do this year, but the 10,000 can definitely make some stuff happen. We're too far into it to just cancel it. It's just going to be quite a few things that we probably can't have this year again, like we have had in the last couple of years.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Rahman again?
Sorry, just to reiterate on that, and I appreciate too, I know sponsorship, happens, a lot of people pull out at the last minute. It again puts us in a tough position because I know this is not the first request where sponsors have pulled out. And, we're happy to support, but I just don't wanna create this cycle where people pull out and we're just the people that make up the difference. And not in this case, but I'm just saying generally.
But I've been very, just so you know, I've been very clear with my community that these are the one-time things.
Sure.
Like, this is not a repetitive thing, and I'll try my best to try to help as much as we can up to their ask. So she's well aware of this conversation. I think the 10, and I'm confident because I know her hustle. Her event is gonna go on, and if she gotta make adjustments or can get some more
3 weeks.
Sponsorship, she's gonna make this event happen. She's a hard worker, so I appreciate even if we just agree to the 10. I don't wanna go no less than that though.
Make a point though.
Commissioner Long?
I do wanna make a point. This event is August 18th,
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It
that's
was
very
last-
fast.
yeah.
I mean, it's very fast if we do pull the 5,000. It's very fast for her to try to come up with. I mean, that's 3 weeks.
Right.
So, I mean, that's just on the other point, on the other side of the argument, if we bump down to 10, she has to come up with 5,000 more of sponsorships within 3 weeks, which could be difficult. I'm playing both sides.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
At this point, I just don't wanna
Yeah.
go less than 10, so whatever we decide, I know she's
Right.
gonna, and I'm supporting her, so if she need me to help and hustle to try to get her some more money,
So
I'm
it's
gonna
up
get her
to-
some more money.
I'd be okay going for the 10 if there's support for that. If there's none, then it is what it is, but.
I'm worried about the timing.
I'm gonna weigh in here. I do think there's a bit of an emergency situation. It's not really an emergency, but it's very short term.
Yeah, that's what I think. Timing.
It's a one-time deal. We're not gonna see this again next year. If, she has done this in the past without our help.
Yep.
And I would expect she's gonna do it in the future without our help.
And I actually knew, just so to be very transparent, I knew the organization that pulled out on her at the last minute, and it is a lot, cause I actually reached out to them to understand, why did y'all pull out from her like that? But they're having some stuff, and they just got back with her in a very inconveniencing time.
Right,
So
it's
that's why I'm
3
pushing the
weeks. I think
15 as well. It's not, nothing that I didn't check into, but yeah, and it
Well,
was.
thank you for that, because that was
Yeah.
kind of an underlying question. Why
No,
did the
I talked to the other
people pull
sponsors
out?
that she had last year that, why,
And it
yeah.
wasn't because of her event not
No.
being
No, it was
a good
them.
event, it was that they did not have the
And
funds
they did not
available
properly
at the
inform
end.
her in a reasonable time.
Okay. Commissioner Long?
I just think on this one, and I too am like Commissioner Raman. I mean, we do wanna watch all our special projects and stuff, but I just think because of the timing of this, that we should you know, move along with the 15,000 for this time, and then, you know, if it's a one-time 15,000, I mean, I don't wanna put a limit, maybe next year you can come back if she needs 5,000 or something, just for our special, you know, more in the realm of our
Of what we
special
do.
projects, instead of continuing to do half of the project, but I do think there is a timing issue, and she's probably planned I'm sure she's planned a lot for this, and, that's coming up very quick. So I would tend to, urge my commissioners to support this for her and Commissioner Powell right now, because I think it is a timing issue right now with it. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Don't you think
Okay,
it's time?
if there's no other comments,
believe it's
let's
gonna be
prompt the
August
vote, please.
You have 6 yeas, 0 nays?
Thank
Motion
you,
carries.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay, Ms. Brenner, it has passed. This committee, as of August 1st, we have our board meeting, and it has to go before the board. Once it cleared the board, follow up with Mike Keys the Monday after August 1st.
Okay.
So you can, well, actually, yours time sensitive, so you need to contact him August 2nd.
Andrea Powers and myself will be reaching out to you today because of the accelerated timeline to
Okay,
ensure you
got it.
have the logo. So we'll definitely handle that today.
Okay, perfect. You heard him?
Okay. Yes, thank you
Okay,
guys so much.
no
This means
problem.
A lot. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Okay, talk to you
Have a
later.
good day.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you all, commissioners. Thank y'all. Thank you, Jesus.
That concludes the departmental recommendations portion of this meeting. We're gonna move on to item 9, Public Health and Safety Committee recommendations. Item 9A, amendment number 3 to the fiscal year 2024 Local Health Department Comprehensive Agreement with the
More
Michigan
money.
Department of Health and Human Services. I'll take a motion.
Yeah,
Commissioner
more
Powell,
money.
Commissioner Rahman.
Get more money, so it's good.
Good morning, I'm Stacy Sledge, sitting in for Leanne Stafford. This is amendment number 3, to our local health department agreement. This amendment adds a little over $680,000, part of which there's $382,000 in additional funding for a public health infrastructure grant, which supports public health workforce, foundational capacity, and data monetization. Through this funding, we're requesting to create 2 special revenue full-time eligible public health workers. These health workers will be used to promote health initiatives to champion health equity, reduce disparities in the community, and assist residents to gain access to needed services. Also, we're requesting to add an additional $2,500 to the OLSA sub-recipient agreement with WIC. This funding will be used to implement an international board certified lactation consultant services to WIC clients. And do you have any questions?
It's good. No, it's
I'll open
good.
it up to the commission. Anybody have any questions about this?
No, it's good. More
Money coming in.
money coming in.
Provide more services. Okay, well, if there's no comments, let's go ahead and prompt the vote.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have item 10, which is a closed session. County of Oakland versus Teva Pharmaceutical Industries et al. On the opioid settlement participation agreement with Kroger. Moved by Commissioner Rahman, supported by Commissioner Weipert. Now, are you guys gonna be the experts on this, or do we need corp counsel, or?
We have them on virtually on the next link. So we just need to
Oh,
vote to
okay.
go into closed session and then we'll
right.
magically change the room over.
Okay, so I need a motion to go to closed session.
I think they did, right?
Well,
Yeah.
for the, I mean, you gotta say for the
We need to
reasons.
vote.
She did, yeah, she read the court
Oh,
case.
Right. Okay. And then we need to prompt the vote, correct?
Yes.
Got it.
Thanks for coming.
Oh, you're welcome. Have a good day.
You too.
This here, about something to hand out when you guys
Yes.
come out
Oh,
of closed
okay.
session. Powell,
What'd you say?
I got a book to hand out.
Categorical?
On closed session.
Yeah, probably.
No, I think.
It's like
6 yeas, 0 nays.
Okay.
creaking. That wasn't sitting that long, it was creaking like a.
it's all concluded, we don't have to decide anything.
Right.
You've given us X amount of dollars.
Right.
We're saying thank you.
Just as you can doesn't mean you have to.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I got a lake board, those lake boards.
Yeah.
I heard it all, I mean, Colas lake boards.
Alright, well.
How many?
Oh, there's so many. Meetings all time during the day. Sometimes they.
She's back.
Sometimes they take an hour and a half.
You got your categoricals or what? Yep, awesome.
So we're still on the same item, we're just waiting for the Corp Council to come back on the video, and then we will
This is
vote.
our last item on the agenda.
Yeah, public comment next. Then we're
Okay,
done.
okay, I thought you were saying we're getting books or something.
Okay.
If we don't get Corp Council, we
We're
could
fine, we
still
can
do
go
it
into open
anyway.
session.
That's what
We're
I'm-
looking for
I'm
a
saying, we
motion
can just-
to recommend to the board the recommendation of Corporation Council and the attached
Yeah.
resolution.
Yeah,
Okay, we'll give them another minute.
I think we can do it.
We'll just do it that way.
Yeah, I think we can do it.
I'm not a very good,
Oh, good.
Card dealer?
Oh, I'm a good,
I'm a good card dealer.
I'm a good card dealer, I can shuffle good.
I'm
My
not
kids
good
were
at-
impressed.
What's the Canadian one with the
Curling?
curling? I'm never good at curling.
Okay.
I haven't tried
Hey,
that.
I appreciate that the budget book is about half as
I
thick
know.
as it was last year.
I know.
like that.
Well, the print's just smaller.
Yeah.
I know,
No,
I know. I did,
Yeah.
I did look.
32 pages out.
I did look.
It is
I did
smaller.
look.
It
Oh,
is
that's all,
much.
132, it seems way smaller than, I mean, than
Phil said
No.
the print's
132.
small.
The print's not smaller.
Oh, it's
No.
not?
Yeah.
I looked,
If
it's
the
not.
print's smaller, I'm doomed, I'm already having
I
trouble with
know.
the last year's with the glasses.
And it will,
I need a
and when we're
magnifying
done, I
glass to
can
bring
walk through
in.
this
Okay.
super quick.
All right.
I think we should
I'm
move
not
on.
seeing Corp
Let's go.
Council,
Yeah,
so
let's go.
I'll take a motion. Commissioner Rahman?
So just, we'll move to proceed, as directed by Corp Council.
On the resolution,
On the resolution
yes,
in closed session.
I'll second,
Moved by Commissioner Rahman, supported by Commissioner Long.
yes.
Okay, any other discussion? Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and prompt the vote.
We're okay
We're
though,
done?
we're okay if he doesn't get it, we're fine. Just tell him if he calls, yeah, we're good.
Do we need the motion repeated because the mic wasn't on?
Sure.
Yeah, probably.
Commissioner Rahman, you want to restate the motion?
Sure, I'll move to proceed as directed by Corp Council on, do I have to repeat the
Just maybe the
on the
resolution,
County of Oakland versus Teva Pharmaceutical Industries et al. Opioid settlement participation agreement with Kroger.
and I'll second.
And supported by Commissioner Long.
Yeah, I think it's better to put
Okay.
it for record.
If there's no other discussion, let's prompt the vote.
I'm a yes, just active.
Yeah, mine tried that came up. Okay, mine came up.
My machine must be broke. Yes.
I'm working on it, wanna work
They
Hoffman.
didn't want you voting on Hoffman.
You have 6 yeas, 0 nays.
She's like-
All right, motion carries. You could probably text Brandon and
Yeah,
let him
just
know.
say
Oh,
we're
yeah,
done,
I
we're
already-
good,
yeah, no, I
it's
already-
good. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
don't worry
So
about it.
that concludes item 10, closed session.
Okay. Public comment.
I guess I'm gonna defer to,
Do you want me to do it on
do we wanna do this on the agenda?
after?
We just do new business.
Oh, other business, okay. So we'll do the public comment. Is there anybody who wishes to address this committee from the public? You have 3 minutes. Seeing no one, I will close public comment. We'll move into other business. We have Cheryl with us.
Good.
Off the press.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I don't
Cheryl
feel-
Johnson, Deputy CFO. What I just handed out was the hot off the presses categorical analysis of the budget book. One, I would like to say, I appreciate that you noticed that the budget book was a little bit smaller this year. It's our goal to make it a little more concise going forward and making it real good, efficient information that's usable.
What the categorical is it takes all, that big book is all the line items in the budget. Everything, every spend category, every revenue category, all the detail. This book is by category. So you'll see, like, I flip to page 21, it's prosecuting attorney. You'll see the total for federal grants. You'll see the total for charges for services. So each department is just the major categories that make up their revenues and expenditures. The one thing that I do want to point out, well, the cool thing, so you'll see the numbers on the page, and then directly following, you'll see the major changes that were made from the previous budget to the next 3 years. The cool part is the page number at the top is the page number of the detail in the bigger book.
Oh, thank you for that.
So it's always been like that. I just don't know that anyone realized that.
You told us that last time.
Until last year when I mentioned it, there was a couple of shocked faces. But it makes this book easier to go through because, you know, I know we have pet departments or places that we're looking at. You can go right to that department, find out the detail if you want more detail. One of the things I was showing Commissioner Powell earlier, when she was asking about the state shared revenue, that goes under the non-departmental, which if you give me a second, I'll get to that page. There's also a handy index, table of contents in the front.
Yeah, I like these. Summary.
So that is the non-departmental operations, which is page 68. So if you go to page 68, you'll see our non-departmental budget information in concise information by category. And then the verbiage below are the changes. So if you're looking at on page 69, the third bullet down, it talks about the intergovernmental general reimbursement increased due to a $3 million increase in the revenue sharing, which was one of the questions that you asked, how much our revenue sharing was increased. Because I don't know if it was all attributed to MAC, but this will tell you how much of the revenue sharing was increased from the previous year.
Thank you.
And that's just a real quick example of how to use the book. It makes it a little more efficient rather than flipping through the, you know, less than 500 pages in that other one. But everybody, like I said, hot off the presses today, the rest of the commissioners have them in their inbox. And these are a lot helpful to look at, and they'll be way more useful during the budget hearings.
They are, thank you.
Always, any questions, you know, I'm available, please feel free to reach out.
Okay. Anybody have any questions or comments?
No, thank you.
Okay. Well, is there any other business to come before the Finance Committee?
Then I saw, just on that line, not for you, but Tammy Shepherd was here, and I saw an email today or the other day that she offered to meet with us
for
on
IT.
IT budget.
Yeah.
So everybody should
Individually, if you want,
take
yes.
advantage of that.
Yeah.
Well, and one of the things that we're gonna do for the budget this year that last year, if you remember, the chief and the supervisor sat here through all the meetings. My entire staff will be here. So the person the budget analyst that prepared the budget for those departments will also be here. So if there's any questions or how things got to be the way that they are, we will be available to answer those questions.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Cheryl.
Welcome.
No other business to come before this committee. I call us adjourned at
Thank you very much,
12:41.
everybody.